Oh, hello and welcome to episode 9 of Georgie's Gundogs at Trails for Tails Dog Training. Ignore the pipes behind. Don't even ask. Anyway, okay, so in this episode I've got my hat on because it's bloody raining out there. As you can tell, my dog is wet, aren't you? Soggy boggy. So in this episode we're going to have a little chat, which is not the formality training, but it's still part of the training and it's still important in Gundog, and that is sitting and doing nothing. Big skill, probably one of the biggest skills we teach our dogs, because actually in Gundog we do a lot of standing around. Whether you're a beater, a peg dog, a picking up dog, trialing, all of that, we do a lot of doing nothing. Because everybody thinks we're always on the go, and we're not. Don't get me wrong, we do a lot of training. There's a lot of training involved in Gundog, but one of the fundamentals and one of the cores is this sitting doing nothing. We stand around, so a lot, if I'm before and beating, we're hanging around before, we're waiting before the keeper says we can go off and beat. We're hanging around in between drives, we're hanging around at training places, we're hanging around at the back behind trial, before your dog has its turn. And you can be there depending what number you are. You can be there till, if you're number 16, you can be waiting ages. So this dog needs to learn to sit with you and do nothing. Now for the younger dogs, this is a real challenge, especially certain dogs that are busier than others, and spaniels especially. The HPRs and pointers struggle with it as well, where they are more comfortable standing than sitting. But it's a real struggle because we're asking these working breeds that are go all the time to do nothing. Be on a lead and just stand with us while we're talking to somebody, while we're hanging around before our turn, all that. Even when other dogs are working, they've got to manage themselves. So isn't it such an important skill? Yes, it is. And I do teach it with them from pups. They just get used to sit with me, because puppies like to sit in and take the world anyway when they're young. So I start reinforcing that, okay, rewarding it. Yep, that's what I want from you. Learn to do nothing. I take them everywhere, even to the bloody mechanics. Sit around with me, go to boring places, because not always on the lead should mean going out, we're doing something, because the anticipation of a lead for a lot of dogs, they just go through the roof because they think they're going for a walk, going training. And actually sometimes with a young dog, when you just take them to boring places like car parks, like I said, I go to mechanics, shopping centres, or where boring fields, or boring somewhere that's not that stimulating, teaching them to just sit and watch the world in, like even like this, like he's doing, okay, he could be off being busy, but I practice this a lot. I'm not always training him in my field. Sometimes I just sit here with him. Yes, he's on my lap, okay, well, can't always do that, but sometimes I just stand there with him because I've got quite a nice view, and I just watch the birds go past, I watch things go past, because this is another skill. They learn to not want to chase things going up in front of them, action happening, that they can just sit there, switch off. Because also the dogs that struggle sometimes switching off, this is where noise can come in, okay, if they've not learnt that skill, and then all of a sudden you're asking, depending on the dog, depending on how it's emotionally feeling as well, because that is a thing we have to take into account. But we have to teach them this skill, and like I said, it's so important. So many dogs struggle in between work, standing around, doing nothing. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, this little one has times, especially when we're at spaniel days, and at the moment he's an adolescent, so he's also dealing with that hormones kicking in. So I have to take things in consideration. He is at times, he doesn't make the noise as much. He can be a bit wriggly, like, oh, what's that smell? What's that? So just teaching him to sit back. But because he did it as a puppy, he finds it a lot easier than a dog that hadn't done anything as a puppy would find it more challenging, And he's also learning that experience of why other dogs are ahead of you and others are sitting around. And that's another thing, when you're on these training days, you want to be around the dogs that are quieter, are likely to sit there quiet, because that's another social influence on your dog. Because this sitting doing nothing, like I said, I'll keep banging on about, is so important. We need to switch these breeds off in between stuff. We also need to think to the teacher that not everything is go, 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 go. Because a lot of them, if they're high drive, they want to be on the go all the time, and this standing around is so challenging. Even I see so many dogs who haven't been taught the skill. They bite the lead, they scream, they do everything. Yeah. Now, there are times you have to really look at why your dog's struggling, even if you're teaching the boring skills. So I had a dog, Barry. He used to find it very challenging, but what I worked out with him was it was group pressure. He didn't like the pressure of a group. He also had mild hip dysplasia. So because he had mild hip dysplasia, there was that underlying pain. So he wasn't always comfortable wanting to be made to sit when he wasn't comfortable. So this is, now I'm not saying this is quite unusual, but you've got to take these things into consideration. So I used to warm him up before I'd ask him. So I'd do like these calming circles, which you'll see later down the line. And before we'd go out hunting, especially the first 2 drives, just to warm him up, because I knew that area needed warm him up, get him settle down with me before I'd sent him in to hunt. Then by the 2nd drive, 3rd drive, he could then start sitting because he was warmed up, he was ready, he took the edge off him a little bit, and that was for him. Where this one is learning the skill of, sometimes we can go, like when we're at the Spaniel Club, we're not always going to do straight away in the group. There'll be others working, and I actually don't always put him in straight up. You can go in any order. You can put your hand up for when you want to go in. And a lot of the time, I actually, not all the time, but a lot of the time, he goes last. So he gets used to the long periods. But I have built that up. So when I first teach sitting doing nothing or standing doing nothing, it might be only for 5 seconds with the puppy. I reward them, nice and calm, and then I'll build on the duration. Yeah, rewarding, giving feedback as I go along. Right, we'll do a bit longer today. And I always practice as well, when I stand still, you sit with me. Yeah, so they learn that skill. Oh, Mum stood still, I'll stay with her. Yeah, so it's another skill in itself, not just sitting doing nothing. But I build that duration. Then I get out and about on it, go into different areas. Like this bird's going across at the moment and he's watching. Yeah, he could be taking flight on it. Good boy. Yeah, feedback. You're getting that right. You're not chasing it. You're not running after it. You know, this is another thing. You get to go to other areas and they get more excited areas, more environment, more stimulant. And you just stand there with them, give them feedback. Yeah, but you don't ask too long at first. This is important. Don't think you can go there for 10 minutes. Stick your foot on the lead and it's going to stand there, right? Now, me personally, I know some people stick the foot on the lead to teach an off cue. That's fine. I personally don't. I'm not a fan. Only reason being is Barry used to absolutely hate it, right? He would just panic as soon as that foot would come on. So some dogs are really good. They'll just go down into a settle, whatever, because you can also teach a settle. But you know, some dogs aren't always 100% comfortable with it. And also, when you're teaching the foot on the lead exercise, you need a loose lead and already teach them in the sit before the foot goes on. And the lead needs to be a decent length. Now, a lot of these slip leads and stuff are not usually long length for foot on the lead. So I rather teach with the lead round my wrist and the dog's just stood there with me. And I also teach the sitting around doing nothing on and off lead. Yeah. Because there are times, not so much in training because your dog will always go back on lead, but in the shoot field, there might be times you need to pause or whatever, and your dog's got to be off lead or your dog's come off lead, and you just want to stand there and not always be on, right? So you teach them that, you know, by your side watching things go on, because that's also part of the impulse control. Again, always go back to that. So what I'll do is I'll do a little demo video of how I start it off. Again, I even do it on place boards because I know there's value on a place board. I can relax on a place board. Now I'm a vapor, right? I like a vape. So I used to be a smoker back in the day, but I'm also a fidget. So I sometimes, that's another cue for mine, that right, well, I'm not working yet, the vape, she's obviously vaping. And I look dead relaxed about it. I don't look on job. Because we do have you've got to think what your body language is doing. I try to, when I'm stood around, kick a leg out, not look too on form, look like I'm ready to go. So he learns, well, actually, Mum's not asked me to do it, because he knows my body language when it changes. Right, we're going into hunting or going into retrieving, we're going into working. He knows, because I have a different thing. So think what you're doing with your body as well. I kick a leg out, I keep like cool. Like I said, sometimes use the board because there's value in the board. I can practice it there so they can build that duration in. you know, sat there watching the world go by. You're a good boy, aren't you? So there's a million ways you can do it, and you've got to think about. And not everything, like I said, has to be in the middle of a field. Go out and about. Go to boring place. If you have got the dog that struggles in the environment at first, go to a boring car park. Get a coffee from Costa. Other places are available, by the way. Go to anywhere. Get yourself a coffee or bring a flask with you. Go out, open the boot, sit with them in the boot. They don't even have to get out, you know. Do a little, then if they do, get them out, do a little bit of heel work maybe, go back, stand still, because the car park is not that exciting thing, you know. Again, they can watch the world go by. Find quiet areas, and like I said, build it up, yeah. So what you're going to do is just see a little clip of me, basically just stood there with him on and off lead, yeah, because I also train on and off lead. So when the lead comes off, it doesn't mean you bog off, and when the lead goes on, you just still sit with me. So I have cues like off lead off, on lead on. So that means as well the dog doesn't mean always release, but usually a lot of cue to the dog when he's off. He knows he's going to be likely to be working, so that's quite a big cue, but it doesn't mean he bogs off. But anyway, I'll show you sometimes stood on the lead, and I'll show you on the lead, and it's literally, I'll show how I build it first. So from the little 5 second, yeah, great, right, move on, and then I stand still and I'll pause again, and I'll get longer and longer with it. Like I said, on and off lead. So that is sitting, doing nothing. Or if you have a dog, like I said, who is not comfortable sit, train it in a stand. Yeah. Because everything we teach our dog is some form of training, but this is more relaxed. It's about them just, yeah, not like looking at us going, right, connection, firing, bang, 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 bang. It's just take the world in. Even stuff like this, go out and sit with him. I mean, like, I don't mind him sit on my lap because he's still learning to do nothing now. Yeah. So that is doing nothing. Thank you. Enjoy. So in this video, we are going to learn about sitting doing nothing. So you've seen in the other previous clip of why we teach it, how we teach it, stuff like that. So I'm now going to, well, not how we teach it, I'm going to demo that. But as you can see, I've already started it, right? As you can see, he is used to doing it, right? But I use the place board first, even with a little pot, because I know it's somewhere of value, right? So I can start that duration and stillness, just stood about. They'll be there because they know good things happen on the board. So I've got a better chance of building that duration and learning to do nothing. Yeah, as you can see, I'm quite relaxed in my body language. My pockets are in my hands. I'm not particularly working. Touch my hat a lot. I do things like that. So they learn that we're not on the go. I'm just stood around doing nothing. But what I do, let's say we've started it, I've got a young dog, I'll pay a couple of times just for being there. But I act dead casual. Like I said, I touch a bit of my hat, my coat, stuff like that. Doesn't mean we're doing anything. In my pocket. And I just pay. Nice and quietly. This is not on the go. Now, I've done about 5 seconds of that young puppy, and I'm like, very good. And then I'll break a minute. Yeah. Give them a point of rest. And I go, right, we'll set it back up again. And I exaggerate, check my boots, check my knees, stuff like that, you know, because you could be. Dog poo, you never know, right? These are things that you just want. And I just put them back, because I don't want them to learn to fidget. So I just put them back, and I pay. Because this payment is feedback from where I want you. Yeah, and again, okay, I've gone a bit longer, break off, very good, nice, carry on with me, very good. And I even pay the little break off. So they learn, stand back still. Chatting to me, get somebody to come with you, talk to you, so you get other people in the picture, maybe another friend with a nice quiet dog, so the other dogs, they learn not to be pulling at the other dogs, sniffing bits, especially if you've got males. you know, teach them that they can cope, but don't do too long. If you think they're struggling, make sure you keep it short and sweet. Your mate goes off, you go off, you can come back together, build it in. So you can build so many pictures. Think about all the pictures that you're going to use in your training. And I think of all different situations, work, sitting around other dogs, going places, everywhere like that. Different environments I take him in. So when he gets there, his head is not blown. So he can, I can manage this. And again, break off, good, very nice. And I keep building it up. And that by sometimes breaking them off, you give them a chance to have a break from it because it's a lot. Siddy, Siddy, sit, good lad. Right, and I even do this awfully, but what I'll show you is I'll walk off and I'm just gonna bumble around, stand still, do nothing, touch my hat, touch my coat, touch my whistle, touch my treat stuff, anything. It doesn't mean that we're on the go. It means just switch off. You can see there he's finding it challenging a little bit. Like I said, I've got an adolescent at the moment, so we are actually going back a bit on this and working on it. Okay, ready? And I just stand quietly. Good choice. And I sometimes ask them to sit again so that they know that's what I want from them, okay? Sometimes just by letting them know before they get into a scent or a smell is a good thing. What are you eating? Grass. See, it's challenging, right? This is actually quite tiring in itself, yeah? Doing nothing, things are going on. Like I said, he's a boy at the moment. Dog's just been in here. He's sniffing, he's wanting to be in things. So I'm teaching him, which I said to you, I don't mind going back a little bit when he's just turned 1, because I can go back and work on it, because I'm aware that his hormones kicking, so he needs to learn to manage himself while the hormones are kicking in as well, which is challenging. Yeah, so again, read your dog. I'm reading mine, and I know he needs a bit of extra support at the moment through this stage because he finds it challenging, and he is a goey dog. He wants to be going all the time. So actually going back and going through a few things is good for him. Yeah, so let's do a bit off lead. So sometimes I can stand there, swing your lead. Doesn't mean bog off, we're doing nothing. Because you can be on the walk when they're off lead. Get them to sit in with you. Eat carbs, all about carb. Good boy. Right, put around your neck. There. Back on. Lead on. Good lad. So that is only how I'd start it, right? So you've just seen the basics of it. Build it up, all about the duration, but you want to build that duration. Different environments. Again, you might need different rewards for it, but you don't want it to be hyped. You don't want it to be too much. You want everything calm, relaxed, looking relaxed, not on Right, we're working mode. Calm, like you see now, I was just playing the thing, make a bit of noise. Like I said, I'll get a friend in chat. Even sometimes play on your phone a little bit, yeah? So that they learn that we're just hanging about. But again, build it up. Don't think they can do 10 minutes of it. Even this, me talking to you, is good for him because he's learning while I'm talking or I'm doing something to do nothing, yeah? So that is how the start of do nothing. Good boy. Well done.